So we may be live now, or we may be live in just a second, but thank you, Danielle, for coming to us live and just sharing some of your amazing story. Rob's going to let me know for sure when we are live, so I can
Okay.
100%. Huh? Okay, that's what I needed. So anyway, so I like to give people a little bit, and you can still see the picture of you currently, right?
Yep, I can.
Okay, perfect. I can't see it, but I'm gonna go with that. I have a different computer in front of me right now because mine, of course, died right before we were gonna do this. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. But just a quick 90-second, if somebody is kind of clicking on and trying to figure out what the heck this is all about, just give me a little bit, a 90-second intro of kind of how your life has changed in the past year and a half.
So, prior to finding this amazing program, as you can tell, the girl on the left, the sad thing is I never really looked at myself in the mirror and saw that. I didn't feel like I looked like that because, I always was trying to be the life of the party and happy-go-lucky, but the way I was, feeling on the inside was something different completely. I had lots of health issues, and then I'd go home and trying to live that positive person on the outside day in and day out. You'd get home and it was kind of something different altogether. I almost just felt like I fell apart a lot of times. And, the highest I was like 203 pounds. And I just knew I couldn't go into I was 39 and I could not venture into my 40s feeling like I was 60 years old with IBS and joint pain and high blood pressure and pancreatitis issues. And I wasn't even not a drinker. That was just from my terrible diet. So
you basically lost, close to 60 pounds, in a pretty, amazing short period of time and turned your health like completely around.
Totally.
What would be one word that would describe the girl that is on the left-hand side of the screen? If you could think of one word.
The before picture?
Yes. Yep.
Struggle bus. I was always on the struggle bus. I was in health, in mental relationships. It was a struggle always.
And what would be the one word that would describe you on the right right now?
God.
I know I'm throwing you for a loop. I'm trying to be
like, I don't know. I keep just thinking there's so many different things. My word this year, my word for this year was leap. And I feel like I've leaps and bounds in so many ways. That girl on the right is genuinely invested in herself for the first time, I think, in her whole life. And
that's a good one. Invested. I like that.
Invested in all ways, invested in my health, invested in my finances, invested in my family. And, prior to that, everybody always kind of got a broken version of Danielle. I was always trying to care for everybody else instead of working on what the core was. I needed to take care of me so everybody could get, a complete version of me, not a bunch of little broken bits and pieces. So I would say
invested. I think that's perfect. And that's totally true. You are totally invested in every, one of your people that you help and yourself, just your kids. But, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit from, the time when you were younger. We all kind of have a story of how we ended up, having just some unhealthy habits. I came from a very, a family that didn't eat the best. So tell me a little bit about, so when you were younger, what kind of, eating did you have around you? What kind of, food, people, what kind of things did you learn as a child?
Yeah, I grew up in a single family, single mom, and we were on welfare. And so most of the food that we consumed was, box foods, things that were easy, things that were cheap to buy. My mom worked 3 jobs, and so it was whatever my sister and I could kind of make for ourselves, which was easy kind of comfort foods or things that were lots of carb loaded, good tasting crap, really. That's really what I grew up with. My mom wasn't a big cook. Her favorite things to make was breakfast for dinner and chicken, or like an occasional meatloaf, which my sister and I thought was nasty. So mostly we ate grilled cheese and tomato soup and hot dogs and macaroni and cheese, and that's really it.
Yeah. So by the time, some of us can kind of live off that and still look pretty good. I wasn't one of those people. I was always kind of a bigger girl, when I was younger. So by the time you were what age did you feel like you were kind of just feeling a little bit not like the healthiest version of like everybody else that was walking around kind of stick thin?
Well, growing up, I was a gymnast and I danced and I liked sports and I was active, but I also became a mom at a really, really young age. I was pregnant with Cedric at 16, had him at 17, and really yo-yoed much of my whole entire life. I was a mom of 3 by the time I was 24 years old. And so, the I never put myself first. It was always care for my kids and whatever, I always came last, always. And, my weight, I feel like there were years that I looked better, and that maybe was from not necessarily eating healthy and working out, but maybe just from not eating, like the stress. I wasn't one to binge eat, although it doesn't look that way in that picture, but I would just not eat for periods of time, and not like intentionally, but just because I was busy moving, doing. I cared for my sister during a period of time. It was always me kind of doing and being busy. So, and then when I did eat, I probably would binge, and eat more than I should in one sitting, or I would resort to wine or beer or whatever to cope. And hence, the 200 pounds that you gain and the health problems from that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you had some kind of unhealthy, times that you had to go through, almost, to go through to get to the point of, wanting to make a change. And
Yeah.
we talked a lot about finding your why. So what kind of helped you define, why you wanted to try to make a permanent change really in your health, and you tried a lot of medications. I know we talked about kind of the basket of medications that you were taking.
I actually thought about trying to go and put those together, but so many of them have now gone to the trash or back to the, the drop-off place where you drop off meds. I mean, literally, I was on over 22 different medications leading up to me finding our program. I had tried multiple different programs. I mean, countless. I worked out with a trainer at one point for 3 days a week. I never found something that really quite worked for me. And so I would give up. I was the queen of trying and then giving up. And, the girl there on the left was really just at a place where she was tired of giving up. She had fallen into just a dark place of having terrible relationships with my kids, especially my oldest daughter. My health had taken a huge nosedive. I mean, I was in and out of the GI doctor's office. I feel like every other month for issues with my IBS. I had chronic IBS-D for almost 15 years. And at one point they had talked about doing a colostomy bag because it was like they couldn't get a handle on why I had chronic diarrhea. And it was, we tried every medication, there was procedures, and then it led to me having this idiopathic pancreatitis and my gallbladder out, and and then my blood pressure shot up because I'm stressed, and then
you were pretty young.
Depression.
Pretty young to be going through all of this. So
yeah. I mean, this started from my early 20s. I remember having Nadia at 24, and from that point on, it just kind of was like this downward trajectory of events that took place for me and for my health. And I just couldn't believe. I remember sitting in my closet crying because I had a walk-in closet filled with clothes that I wished I could have worn. I had a section about this big of black, lots of black and stretchy items that I could choose from. And I remember just feeling so frustrated and fed up, and I was sick, and I hated to plan things with friends because I would spend 30 minutes in the bathroom after having a meal, and I was miserable. And I felt like I needed to project this positive, happy, perfect image. And I'm sad to say that I really was living, it was a facade so much of the time.
And I remember when you first called and you were telling me about this IBS and having to really always know where a bathroom was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and have like an exit strategy and make
Yeah.
sure that you eat. And I remember getting off the phone thinking, oh my gosh, like this is a little bit overwhelming. Like, hopefully this is going to work, because
Yeah.
she seems so, desperate,
I was miserable.
And that was like the one word that after I got off the phone with you the first time, that would be the word I would describe you with.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
desperate. Like, I just wanted, you want to help, we want to have the solution. And, we can't always, have the solution for everybody, but, hopefully, we can help,
I was really hopeless. I was very hopeless. And like I said, I had tried a lot of other things that didn't work. And so for me, I sat on it for a month or two before I actually called you guys and said, before I pulled the trigger, because I really was sick and tired of trying, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I didn't want to waste any more money, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I thought it was another fad diet of some sort. I mean, honest to God, if I would have found something on Facebook that told me to stand on my head and drink apple cider vinegar through a straw, I probably had tried it. And so I thought about it and did a ton of research. And the funny thing is, we do a ton of research when it comes to a health program, but do we do a ton of research when we're about to devour a bag of chips or Oreos? No, right?
No.
So I thought to myself, what the hell are you doing? It's 30 days. Can you invest in yourself for 30 days and see what can happen here? And man, oh man, am I glad I did. I mean,
so let's talk about, so you finally, you went and overthought it for a while. And then I said the same thing, when Rob and I started, I didn't even give him an option. I was just like, hey, we're starting this thing because I'm sick of listening to us complain and just, hobble around like we're 95.
Yeah.
And we really have nothing to lose. So we're just going to give it a shot. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't,
right.
some shipping or something. So,
right.
So you're going to your first week, you were a nurse and, had a busy schedule. And I remember talking to you quite a bit the first week just to make sure that we got you into a good, strong fat burn and you were feeling good. I don't even know if you remember back to your first week. I do remember back to my first week. I was kind of grouchy.
I remember my first week because you were deathly ill my first week, and I felt terrible for you. I think you had pneumonia.
I had pneumonia. Yeah, I had pneumonia, and I was like,
but you still called me every night.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I started health coaching, and you were like one of my first clients, you and Leslie, and I hardly even talk. And I had a fever of 105, but you were at work. It's kind of fun to start when you're at work because you're distracted, but you had a busy, 10,000, step kind of day, grooming patients and all sorts of stuff. But do you remember how you felt that first week?
I think I may be, I don't know. I honestly, I read lots of different reviews, right? On everybody's different because we're all coming from something different. Maybe we have 5 pounds to lose or 105, right? Our diets all look different. Our bodies are different. I specifically remember, the first 3 days, I didn't feel terrible. I didn't feel, for me, it was amazing because for the past 15 years, would be in the bathroom 3 or 5 times a day. And I remember being like, holy, you know what? I've been in the bathroom once today and overshare here. Like, for someone who can understand me and understand where I'm coming from, to have just a normal person, normal day in the bathroom, I was shook. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The little headache that I maybe had, or the trying to figure out because I had so many steps and I needed to have a little extra protein and whatever. I mean, I was mind blown at how normal I felt.
Well, and this is what I was worried about. So we have a lot of people that always say, like, I'm really finicky and I don't think I'm going to be able to learn how to cook.
Hi, that was me.
And you were probably, you could probably say to any client that you coach that I don't think that you could be any more finicky than what I was. I was worried. I was like, how are we going to find something that this woman's going to like to eat?
Yeah.
And you were just like, I don't know what, how or why, but you were like in it to win it. There's so many things that we can cook that are fabulous. And you were, instead of having like your kind of standard chicken breast or shrimp or like just basic stuff, you were from the get-go, like cooking recipes. And
I have to tell you honestly, okay, I was never raised, and everybody to each their own, right? I was never really raised going to church, being super religious, spiritual, but I'm going to tell you something bigger and greater than me led me to this program. And you talk about your why, and you talk about steadfastness and determination and willpower and all of these things, and it all starts here, okay? And yeah, you know what? I was a picky eater and I was a little bit worried. I remember one of my first questions was, well, what's the food like? And I remember, because you were so sick, CJ actually was the one I was talking to, and she said, who cares what it tastes like? Do you want to keep being obese and feeling like crap, or do you want to get healthy? And I thought to myself, oh my God, she just like broke it down for me. Like, no, I don't want to be obese and feel unhealthy. And it was from that moment, it was, quit with the BS, Danielle, and do this. For once in your life, stick to something. And there's a quote that I absolutely love. It's, be like a postage stamp and stick to something for once. And that has been my motto this entire journey. And the minute I see myself even just faltering a little bit, I think to myself, not this time. Something greater than me has led me and carried me when I couldn't walk on this journey, or when I felt weak. And it's been powerful for me. Really, really powerful.
Good. And
probably the best thing I've done in my life for myself.
And I think it is too. And you and I are pretty straightforward with people, because CJ was straightforward with me. I'm pretty straightforward with people when I tell them, you're just going to eat, you're going to eat every 2 hours. We're going to fix your metabolism that you tell me you think is broke. You're going to start, craving like healthier food. And
you're not too old.
My key phrase that people, I'm sure, are sick of, they kind of laugh, but I say, it's not like I'm telling you to drink blood. Just eat the food. And, it's going to be great. And you can cook like a delicious meal. You can, have the same thing every night for all I care.
Right.
But, it's going to be amazing. And instead of losing, like a small amount of weight each week, you're going to lose like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the amount of fat. And that's like, holy moly, I probably would drink blood, but we don't have to do that. But
I think for me, it was those weekly non-scale victories sometimes that were even more powerful for me than the scale and the inches.
And this was the other cool thing about you. So you started, and then literally right away, you were so blown away by how good you felt. And you just wanted to like literally share it from the mountaintop with like everybody. So you go and take a picture of yourself, you post a picture of yourself without any, makeup on, your hair is all over the place, with your, bikini that was, probably very too small at that point. And you were just like, I am going to live this journey out loud. And I was like, okay, here we go. And
Julia's like, oh good, that's my client.
And you're doing lives and, inspiring, all these people, and I always say, not everybody's going to love me. That's okay. I share it from the heart. And, I'm trying to, be coachable, but this was the one question I was going to ask you. So what would you say, how would you define somebody that's coachable and teachable? And from the time that you started, because I literally go from being coachable and teachable, thinking that I'm great at it. And then sometimes I'm not. And then I'm like one day I'm like, gosh, I was not coachable and teachable. Let's start.
Totally.
So, and we coach people, and you have to be coachable and teachable too,
Yeah.
with other people that you coach and just the whole thing. So what would you say, is how, you think to be coachable and teachable and try to get better every single day?
Well, kind of just to backtrack a little bit, for me, I felt truly like I had a gift in my hands. And going into this program, never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to step away from my job for 15 years and do this full time, right? But when you start feeling as amazing as I was feeling, and this wasn't just a week or 2 or 3 a fluke, right? This was like the real deal. I was being given my life back. And I knew that I could not be selfish and keep this to myself. I owed it to the rest of the world to be able to, even the small amount of people that I'm going to reach in my lifetime, to be able to pay this gift forward. And so for me, I needed to, yes, share my journey out loud, and I had no idea what I was getting into. And so when you talk about being coachable and teachable, I feel like I've done a lot of growing in the past 2 years, not only with my health, but with my relationships and, my wherewithal of really like understanding what that means. Because the old Danielle, and probably parts of me still, are a bit of a hard head. And you think you kind of know it all, and I'm a control person a little bit. And I feel like, I might have the best strategies. And the thing is, why recreate the wheel? Someone has done it before me that has been incredibly successful. So instead of being defensive or, because believe me, I have been, and I've gotten off calls or had messages sent to me where I instantly had blotchy chest and face, and I was irritated, and I'm taking it personally. And I've really had to grow. I've had to grow into my, we say growing into your leadership role, growing as a mentor. And boy, could that not be, that is just spot on, because I've had to take a lot of advice from people who maybe I didn't care for it. And maybe I had to step away for a day or two and really process it. And being a good, mentor, leader means that you're going to make mistakes, and mistakes are, you growing. And I just feel like being willing to, open to advice, open to, I don't know, just listening with an open heart and an open mind. And for me, like the biggest thing that I work on in my life is not being so affected by everything and the stories that you make up in your mind, instead of just letting things come, accepting them for what they are, growing from them, without anger, resentment, whatever, is a huge, it's a huge like place, I feel like, in this business, because we all are the CEOs of our own business, right? So we could do with this whatever we want. But if we aren't taking the advice from the people before us who have our best interests at heart, whether we believe it in that moment or not, it's game changing.
Well, and that's the key right there, is I always have to sit back and go, is this person have my best interest at heart? And without a doubt, it's always the answer is yes.
Yep.
And
yep.
so I take a day and I go back, and I've got some clients that are so coachable and teachable. I learn from them, and then some that aren't, and then they realize, hopefully, God, I'd have their best interest at heart. I just do. I want to see them succeed. So I was going to go into, you talked a little bit about this, but you quit your job. You were, having a crazy job, like working, nursing, which, is a great, wonderful job. And now you spend, somewhere, between, the hours of, it just depends, because you can make your own hours. So some days you're on the phone all the time, coaching people and helping other coaches, and you build a whole, huge organization of people to help other people get healthy, which I'm so proud of you for, because you and I can't do it all,
No.
like I have people and you have people that reach out to you, because they want your help, and it's so much fun. But what kinds of things do you receive in return from coaching? Like, what does it do for you, for your health, for your journey, your health journey? Like, what kinds of things does that give to you? Because I love giving to other people, but what does coaching help give to you to keep you on track?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge decision for me to step away from a career that really, I love people. And so I felt like, in the role that I was at, I was a, certified medical assistant for, almost 15 years. And, being a servant and helping people, just feel better was something I loved. But what I was doing as a coach, I felt like I was being able to do that on a much more passionate level for myself. I was able to share my story, be a part of other people's journey, walk alongside people, coaching people. It was, and be able to like speak my story. It was kind of this constant way, I felt like I was being pulled, I wasn't able to give all of my time to where I really wanted to give it most. And so I made the decision. I had tripled my income in like 10 months by doing this. And I knew that there was so much more potential for me if I could invest all of my time into one place instead of being pulled so thin. And so I made the decision, with a little trepidation, to do this full time. And I can't even tell you how many doors it has opened for me by doing so. I have, we talk about having an integrated life, a life of integration. And what that means is I'm able to integrate this coaching career into every single thing I do. I took a hike earlier with my daughter, and I was able to, pencil that in. It has allowed me to be a more present mom. It has allowed me to be able to travel more and to do things with my family that I've never been able to do before. It also keeps me incredibly accountable on my own journey. I feel like here I have this, team of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who some way, shape, or form are watching me, and I don't want to let them down. I don't want to fail. And so I don't want to let myself down, but more than anything, here's these people that I want them to view me as someone they can look up to. Am I human? Do I stumble? Heck yeah. Do I live that out loud too? Damn right. Because I'm real, but what it's done for me, and I'll be really honest with you, what it has done for my self-confidence is something I can't put a price tag on. This couldn't be more of a perfect fit for a career, a lifestyle change in all ways for me. I will be forever grateful for you, for offering this program to me, and then also being willing to take me under your wing and teach me everything that you know, because you yourself have grown just this incredible, amazing business. And every day I strive to emulate that in some way. It's outstanding.
And we work as a team, and that's the
Yep.
wonderful thing about this is we just support each other when we're up and down and all sorts of other things, and just keep moving forward. And we receive so much am I really glad that my coach, she hassled me for literally 4 months, and she was like, stop being so selfish. You've lost all this weight. And I'm like, listen, I am a busy real estate agent.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. Like, that's literally what. So, thank goodness, she just didn't let it go. She didn't drop it. She's CJ, that's just how she is. So what are some helpful tips that you have found? Like, let's say that you went on vacation, you kind of got off track, we all do this, like we go on vacation and trying to get back on track. Can sometimes be a little bit hard because we have a whole lifetime of bad habits, and we're constantly working on ourselves and making sure but what are some tips and tricks that you have for people to try to get back on track, especially like right now in quarantine, things like that. What do you do to get yourself back?
Well, honestly, I traveled a lot this past year, probably more than I've ever traveled in my life. And while that was amazing and wonderful, it allows for you to I feel like, maybe start to slide down a slippery slope of a place that you don't want to be in. And, for me, I really can't remember the last time that I weighed this weight. I really can't. And so I got kind of comfortable, and lazy in my efforts a little bit. And I remember needing to like have a come to Jesus moment with myself. And my whys at the girl at 200 pounds were significantly different than my whys of the girl at 149 pounds. Okay. Or 150 some pounds or whatever it was when I decided I got to kick this into first gear again, because yes, I had maintained a 50-pound weight loss. And then I had decided I want more. And so the beginning of the year, I made some new goals. I set a new why for myself that I was going to get down to that lower range of my healthy BMI. And I was going to stop with being comfortable with where I was at. And I recommitted. I recommitted to the program 100%. I was done being I was tired of being in maintenance and just being complacent. I knew that there was next level goals for me. And that's the cool thing with this program, is that there's always next level. You don't just stop. You don't wait for the guy with the black and white flag out there waving it at the finish line. There is no finish line. And that's the coolest thing with this program, is that we're always going to keep setting new goals. And so I set a new goal for myself. And I really had to, I really had to like reassess where I was at, reassess how far I had come and where the hell I was not going back to, because that was my fear. And so I did. I set some new whys. I checked back in with you, and I really just got serious as a heart attack, like I did when I started this program. I remember you checking in with me, and when I first started, and every week it was, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And I was never the client that was like, well, what do you mean? And how do you do that? And no, I was spot on, CJ, every time, and you, every time you called. And that's just, I got back to it. It was check the box, Danielle, check the box, check the box. And from January 20th, I'm down another 20 pounds. And I haven't had a drop of alcohol through quarantine. And I'm probably going through some of the most stressful time of my life right now. And the one thing I am in control of is what I put in my mouth, how I fix my mind, the amount of activity that I get out and I breathe fresh air and I walk my butt around. Like, I am in control of those things if I'm in control of nothing else. And so I refuse to allow stress, quarantine, whatever to get the best of me. And it's because I am determined. And when you get your mind in the game, who cares what the hell the food is? I mean, who cares? Who cares if, I don't know, if you eat the same 3 things every day. If you've got goals, man, nothing can stop you. I'm serious.
No, and if you're talking to people and you're coaching people all day and you're saying, man, are you drinking your water? Are you getting your timing right? Are you doing this? Are you counting your condiments? Are you doing all those things? You really have to, start like reevaluating, and if you're doing the same thing, which is what I do for myself. And I haven't been drinking anything in quarantine either, which is hard for me because I'm at my goal weight and I could, but I'm just doing it because I'm trying to be there and like support other people. And, I know that it can be a little bit of a challenge with the drinking thing. But it's possible, totally possible, because you're doing it and I'm doing it, and we're finding other things to do. Like you're going on hikes, you're going over to Lebanon Hills and you're going on hikes. You're finding other like fun things to do. I posted something that I really like. I got like a bathtub thing, like take a bath, and like a little thing. Is there anything that you have that you have found that you like to do, like at the house, or anything that like just healthy habits, anything that you can share with anybody that you do instead of eat?
Yeah. Well, like you said, I've been hiking a ton. I feel very blessed that I live about 2 blocks from Lebanon, which is a regional park here in Minnesota. And so I've just been hiking a ton. I also am very thankful for my 2 puppies that I have, because it gives me an excuse to get out of the house and, to be active with them. I also am really thankful. I had a good friend of mine send me, I've never read the Bible before, and it's always something that I've wanted to do. So she sent me that. So I've been spending a lot of time reading just self-improvement books, that Bible. I've been watching online church with some friends, just really trying to do things to grow me as a human. And, and, to stay like mentally in a place of clarity and peace. And, you know, I, I really could care less about sitting and watching Netflix, or, I saw a funny meme that said, are you getting a tan from the fridge light yet? And it's, I am almost coming up on 2 years of this program. And it's crazy because that old Danielle probably would have had a beautiful bronzed glow from the fridge light by now. And I'll tell you what, it is so different than where I'm at right now. I mean, just to even sit out in my front, yard and listen to the birds chirp and to meditate and, I don't know, just pray. And that brings me so much peace.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you one more question and I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
What are you going to do for Mother's Day tomorrow? Are you going to cook? Are you going to get some healthy takeout from somewhere?
Well, my kids have asked if I would grill for them, so I'll probably grill. I probably will take another hike. That has just brought me so much peace, and I find so much joy in that. I think my mom and sister might stop by and we can sit out in the yard and wave at each other. But that's really it. I love just, it's funny because, a lot of people are really kind of getting stir crazy with this quarantine and, ants in their pants and ready for it to be done. And I'll tell you, as much as I miss doing some of the normal things too, I am really happy at home with 3 of the most amazing people in my life. Isabel is moving out. My 20-year-old daughter is moving out very soon. And to be able to have this time with her, because she's always gone. So that is a gift in and of itself. And to just be able to have my sweet Nadia and Cedric and the 4 of us together has just been, that's the best Mother's Day gift for me. And I will actually miss not being all quarantined together because I don't get to see them. They're older and they're always doing their own thing. So be blessed, and count your blessings and be grateful for the things that you do have, even when you think they might be the hardest things,
Yes. Well,
what are you doing for Mother's Day?
I do not know. I might be doing the chicken that's stuffed with the asparagus and the provolone cheese.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever had that one, but I think I was going to post it tonight. So Danielle and I, we both post like really good cooking ideas. So head over to her page. I'll probably post, there's a couple different things that I have some of my clients that are making, like different egg bakes and stuff, like making their kids like, they're not that hard, like 4 or 5 ingredients, throw it in a pan, throw it in the oven, and still have a healthy thing. Some of our people, like, they take the iced beverages and they put it in kind of like a fancy glass, those big, like lemon iced beverages. I have like our purposeful hydration that's like the orange juice type. So I don't know what we're gonna do. Rob got me some flowers and he had those delivered, so that was really nice.
I bought myself a Mother's Day present because I Wasn't quite sure what was going to be going down
What
here.
did you buy?
I bought myself an espresso machine.
Oh, that's my favorite thing in the entire world.
Do you have one?
I have one, and I was so afraid when quarantine was going on that we were going out of coffee that I had Rob order like a whole nother extra box.
Oh my gosh.
The espresso, but I have that in my little.
So I can't tell if I like it better than the Keurig yet. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's so much better, but I don't know what kind of coffee you got, but the Keurig tastes like nothing.
I just got the sample pack of Nespresso, but
I have yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got a ton of Nespresso stockpiled if you want to try a couple.
Yeah, maybe I will because they're not that cheap.
No, but they're so good. And you know, coffee is not horrible for you as long as I try to force myself, because I love it so much. I force myself to drink like 10 to 15 ounces of water between.
Yeah, I got this big old and like when I lift it, it's like I'm doing reps.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah, I know. Well, keep going. I have no idea. Maybe we'll see each other tomorrow and Lauren can like on her new guitar or something.
I would love that. That would be so great.
I wanted to go if it was nice out, but I don't think it's going to be. We'll have to go to like Minnehaha and like walk around or something.
Yes.
Go somewhere a little bit different. So
yeah, hiking is a lot different for us now, isn't it?
It used to be pretty hard just to walk around or do much of anything. And now it's like, I actually think, and this is really weird for me to come out of my mouth because I usually don't run unless I'm chased. Like, I'm like, I actually think I could probably run. Like, I don't know. So,
well, maybe next summer, Julia, you and I can run the Grandma's Half Marathon together.
Yeah, we need to continue to set, some new goals for ourselves, and always keep going, going forward, because right now we've done very little to get to the place that, and it's just, now we used to be kind of old, even though we were young.
Now we're old, but we're young.
I know. Like, actually, I'm a lot older. I think I'll be, how old am I going to be? I think I'm going to be 47.
Glow up, Julia. It's the glow up. We're not growing up. We're glowing up.
I know. Well, you guys have fun. I still haven't seen the puppies yet. So
we'll have to, I've got a new harness coming, so they won't be pulling as much. So when that comes on Monday or Tuesday, we'll definitely go hike around with those guys. Yay. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for sharing your story. And anybody that has just like IBS, I just always bring up your story. Just have so many things that were troubling to you and just totally turned it around, like in a pretty short period of time. So
pretty incredible. 5 months.
I still love that chair behind you.
This one. I know, isn't it fun? I just love it. It's and I bought it because it kind of has our logo.
Yeah, I know. It's very cool. Is it comfortable?
Yeah, it is actually. With the pillows behind you, it's pretty comfortable. If you didn't have the pillows, it might not be, but
okay. Well, it just needs to look good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Have a good night. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye.